Hello and welcome to 1000 Actually Fun Books, where we're trying to find 1000 books that are actually fun. And in the process of doing that, we are reading through a bunch of books, and this week we're doing Kane by Dick Wybrow. And this is a book that I bought off Amazon because, frankly, the little blurb summary just looked fun. It says, "Bitten by a man, a wolf becomes human. Now he's seeking a way to return to his pack." A reverse werewolf story. So a wolf becomes human rather than a human becomes a wolf. Now, when I got this, before I opened a single page, that was pretty much all I knew about it, and that just sounded like a lot of fun. I'm expecting it to be you have a naked man stumbling out of the forest, and you have to teach him all about being human, and it would be a comedy of him like trying to learn use silverware and clothing and learn to read and all the various things that you think of when you think of a animal learning to be a human. That is not what this book is. So I was expecting more of a comedy that was going to be about learning to be human. And no, when you first get the story, it is a year after he has become a human. And he's already gone through all the stumbling, figuring out being a human stages. And it even tells you later that he had really accelerated learning, like he learned to speak French in like 2 days. So, okay, whatever. So you miss what I felt was going to be all the fun comedy stuff. This book just doesn't do that. So here's what the actual plot is. You jump in kind of at the beginning, middle-ish of he is in a car with a girl and they are on a road trip to find the guy that bit him, and he only has one clue that it's a purple hot rod car that the guy drove. So he is going to car shows where a purple hot rod might be seen or people might notice that kind of thing. They're kind of trying to hunt down this car. The girl is with him just as a driver because Mr. Wolf Boy can't drive well. That's the whole premise of the start. The plot then is them hunting down clues for this other guy. They stumble across basically gory murders along the way that turn out to be the classic werewolf, I think, basically classic werewolf monsters that are tearing people apart or tearing animals apart, whatever's going on there. And so they end up trying to stop them and kind of in the end become werewolf hunters or monster hunters. And that looks like where it's leading with the series. Like, this is the origin of their teamwork as monster hunters, and then after this, they're gonna probably hunt more monsters. Okay, so that's the plot in a nutshell. All right, so warning, it is more gory than I expected. So I was expecting more of a comedy. This ends up being more, like I said, a classic werewolf story and monster hunting. And with werewolves and monsters, you have lots of like people ripped to pieces kind of level. It's not super graphic, but it's more graphic than I was actually expecting, because I was expecting something a little bit more lighthearted than it was. Although it does have a mostly lighthearted tone throughout the book, there is gore. So if you don't like gore, this isn't the book for you. Okay, so what did I like about the book? First thing I really liked Kane. So the book title Kane, that's the name of our werewolf, used to be a wolf, our wolf boy. So Kane is a very likable character. He is very straightforward and honest and a good character. I like him. And in fact, if the book was more his point of view, you only get little glimpses of his point of view. More of his point of view, I think there actually would have been more comedy, and I think it would have been a better book. The little bits that we see about it, it is kind of interesting, because you had one scene right at the beginning where you have a scene from one point of view and then the same scene from his point of view. And so the words coming out of the human's mouth and the way he hears them are two different things. And that actually makes for a kind of a funny interpretation of what it is that they're saying. It's like, she looks at him and she lusts after him. And, in her point of view, she's just like, whatever, big, tall guy, I'm trying to get this jar open. It's just kind of funny. Because he thinks everybody likes him and, that he's a big, strong wolf. And, yeah. So it's kind of funny. So I really liked him as a character. I did like that it was, once I understood what the premise of the book was, it's kind of a nice origin story of monster hunters. I mean, it's not bad in that respect. You kind of get to see how that comes about. Like, how in the world does somebody start hunting monsters? And that's kind of what this story is telling you. And how do they get some of the systems in place? Maybe, what kind of weapon does somebody use, or how does somebody get in touch with them? These kind of things are in their infancy in this story of how they set that up. So that is interesting. And the final thing that I really did like, I thought this was pretty funny, was there's kind of a mystery behind Kane's transformations. So he goes out into moonlight and he transforms into something, but it's never the same thing. One time, maybe he transforms into a pug, and one time he transforms into a Rottweiler, and one time he transforms into a little yapper purse dog that's a little ankle biter. And it's kind of like, why is that? I mean, is there a pattern for this? What is the reason that it's all these different dogs? I mean, why? And in the end, when it is explained to you, I think it's clever. It's kind of cute. Okay, so what did I dislike about this book? And I disliked a lot. That would be our main character. So Kane is not the main character. I think it really should have been. But it's actually his companion, the girl. And I'm probably going to mispronounce her name, so I'm just calling her the heroine, the girl. Everything almost exclusively is from her point of view, and I didn't like her. So let's do two different things, big major things that I didn't like about her. One was sometimes her motivation. Like, why is she making the choices that she's making? So, like, as an example, early on in the story, they give you a flashback to when she was in high school, and her high school had built an Olympic-sized pool with Olympic tall diving board, and only people who had been trained to it could go do that. And she basically snuck in, she stole somebody's wristband to go up, to walk off, to dive into the swimming pool, even though she had no training and didn't know what she was doing, and she did get hurt doing this. And what was her motive for doing that? The book really doesn't give a good motive. Like, it gives a result of what happened, that people were like, oh yeah, she's not someone to mess with because she does daring things. But it doesn't seem like that was what her goal was to start with. It just seemed to be she did it because she was told not to or something. I mean, that seems to be her whole motivation, which is a really stupid motivation. If somebody tells you, hey, it's dangerous to go jump off that bridge, you go, well, I'm going to go jump off that bridge. I mean, that's a stupid reason to do something that's going to get you hurt. And she did get hurt, and she got in trouble. And to me, it was stupid. And she does this a couple of times. So the first time we hear about this monster that the person that she's with is like, oh no, it started again. There's killing going on and gunshots way down over at this farm. And here is what I'll read to you on page 71, what it says. For years now, I'd been a person who, once I'd committed to something, never turned back. So here I was, in a strange town, with a very strange guy, and, well, a monster on the loose. Of course, the only thing to do was go find the monster. Okay, so what is her motivation to go find this monster? Yeah, I don't know. It's the thing to do. It's because... Yeah, the book doesn't give any really good explanation. Here you are, I mean, in real life, if you are here in your town, in your house, and somebody says, hey, on the other side of town, there's a serial killer on the loose and there's gunshots being fired, are you going to be like, I'm going to go over there? because, and there can be some good reasons to do that. Maybe you want to help in some way, like you're going to want to stop the serial killer, in this case monster, right? Does she want to stop the monster? No, that doesn't seem to be her motive. She's going to seek out the monster, but there's no prep for any way to stop the monster. It doesn't occur to her she's going to stop the monster. She's going to be there. It could be that she wants to rescue somebody. That would be a good motive. But again, this doesn't come up. There's nobody that she's going to go rescue. Later on, once she's there, in the midst of things, she does try and help save somebody. And on the way there, it occurs to her that her companion, Kane, may need her help. But that's not her motive starting out. There is no motive. She just decides she wants to be in the same location as a monster. So to me, I look at this and go, this is completely illogical. I mean, the author clearly needed her to be there for plot reasons, but that's not a good reason to have your character go somewhere into danger. There needs to be a good reason. It could even be a bad reason, like she's burning with curiosity and so needs to see the monster. But again, that's not what it says. It's just like there's a monster, therefore she's going to go be with the monster. It's stupid. So, and then later on, it does it a couple of times kind of like this, where she goes to where the danger is, and the book doesn't give a reason for why she's doing it. She has no motive to be there other than it's there, therefore she will go over there and do it. And it just strikes me repeatedly as ridiculously both unrealistic and irritating. I mean, it almost feels like bad writing to me to have your main character go do something that's stupid, I mean, logically is stupid, without even bothering to give a motive. There needs to be some reason that they do this, and it's never given. So I would say that that's one thing about this main character that I just didn't like. And I feel like this was poor writing on the author's part to have skipped that. I mean, maybe he had in mind that she had a reason, but he doesn't give it. Okay, the next thing that I really disliked about this character is her character. Okay, her personality traits, her choices in life. She's not a likable person. So early on, it says they're driving this car. Well, it's not her car. It's her neighbor's car that she borrowed. Okay? She is an entitled, selfish person. She borrows her neighbor's car without asking. Just because it was there and she's like, he's not going to use it. I mean, this is somebody who thinks, I deserve it more, so I'm going to take what I think I deserve because obviously I need it more than them. That's a horrible person that thinks that. Not very long into the book, Kane, who isn't very good with money, is going to pay for something, and she helps out by grabbing the money, counting out, let's say it was $75. She counts out $100 worth and gives it to the person that's owed the money and gives the wad back to Kane. And then when change comes, the $25 change, she grabs the change and pockets it and keeps it. Now, Kane doesn't notice, doesn't care, and the book says he has lots of money, but that's not the point. The point is the idea of a person who sits there and goes, I want it, I will take it, it's mine, I deserve it, is an entitled, selfish, horrible person. I did not like her at all. She did this several times. And it was very frustrating reading this person and going, oh, what? I mean, this is the kind of person that is in our modern day would be a shoplifter, giving excuses all the time about why she's shoplifting and how she deserves it and needs it and nobody's going to be bothered by it anyway. I mean, that's yucky. That's a horrible, yucky individual. And I do not like being stuck in her head and watching her do these things and going, ugh, I don't like this person. Okay, so she's selfish. So character arc. Most books kind of want to have a character arc as your character grows. So she starts off as not a very likable character, like I said, making poor decisions and being selfish, an entitled girl. And so I was kind of hoping that as her character arc would develop, she would get better. Maybe she would grow to realize that she shouldn't steal. Maybe she would grow to be more empathetic towards others. Maybe something along those lines. But the author decided to have a character arc that I thought was very bizarre. It has this revelation that she needs to be needed, that she likes being needed, that if a whole crowd is looking at her expecting something, then she is going to go do it even if it's really stupid and dangerous and could kill her. But by George, she's going to do it. So that is her character growth, is that realization. And when she's having this, I'm sitting there going, girl, you need therapy. This is horrible. I mean, somebody who discovers that they need other people to be validated is somebody who needs help. Not somebody, this isn't a character growth thing that you're like, I'm going to lean into that and be a better person by being needy. That's weird. So I didn't particularly care for her lack of character growth. And there is negative character growth on Kane. The very end of the book, like the last 2 sentences in the book. And here's spoilers because it's right at the end of the book. So all throughout this book, Kane has been an upright character. The kind of good guy that you would like, that I like. And then at the very end of the book, it turns out that he borrowed a dress for the girl from a store. In other words, he stole it. So the girl dragged him down into the gutter with her. That is negative character growth. Kane is learning to be a scuzzbucket. Okay? Wow, how exciting, how amazing. I just totally want to read more about these characters as they delve deeper into the pit or something. I mean, no. So I was disappointed with this book, very disappointed. I did not like the author's characters, the character arc. I did not like the choices the main character made. I thought it was poor writing in that respect. Right at the beginning, because this book wasn't what I was expecting, I kind of was like, well, it could be an okay book. But by the time I got to the end, I mean, it kept teetering on the edge of okay versus just really not recommended. And I think that very end when Kane ended up being a shoplifter, basically was nudged right off the cliff. This is not recommended. It's not recommended at all. I am putting it in my hall of disappointment. So I'm sorry. It's sad, but because it looks like it might be a self-published book or something really similar to that. And I kind of want to support self-publishing and authors that don't have a lot of sales or whatever, and all the things. But I just can't recommend this. I'm not going to read any more of this series, even though I was really looking forward to it. So yeah, not recommended. All right, part 2. So the book I'm going to read next, I am choosing a historical fiction. It's called The Second Mrs. Astor by Shanna Abe. And normally I hold it up, but my library only has a digital copy, so I am doing it online. It is about a woman who survived the Titanic. And she is married to, I believe, one of the wealthiest people in the world at that time, who was also on the Titanic with her, who didn't survive. So this is very historical. She's a real person. She was pregnant at the time. And I think it's going to start with the Titanic sinking, and it's basically going to be her life afterwards. And it's supposed to be really good. So I'm looking forward to historical fiction, since I think that's the first one in my list that I've done. And I hope you will join me. Thank you very much for watching.